Hi, my name is Yvonne Allen and I provide pattern support for Heidi Kirrmaier. And today I will tell you a little bit about how you read the tables that are in the knitting patterns written by Heidi. So, before I begin with a couple of examples, I would always encourage you to check the notes that Heidi puts at the top of the patterns. She often provides some helpful tips about how the garment should fit, how the garment's constructed, and some clarification of little points in the pattern where she thinks you might need a little bit of assistance. So today we're going to talk about one of those, where she says where the bold letters or words occur in the pattern, you will insert the value for your size in the accompanying table. So we're going to go through a couple of examples of how exactly you do that. So our first example is from Homebody, and this is at the very beginning of the instructions. It's a very simple raglan, very comfortable pattern. So I'll gray out the area that we're not going to be looking at right now. And you see the instructions start with the main needle using the long tail method, cast on some number of stitches that corresponds to your size. So for this example, say we're doing the size 3X, so we would cast on 54. Okay, that's a really easy example. Let's go to the next one. This is also from Homebody, and these are actually the next set of instructions for the setup row. It says purl the front stitches, and you'll see that's in bold, and then purl sleeve stitches, place a marker, purl back stitches, and so forth. So again, we're assuming that we're doing the size 3X, and we'll look on our table and we'll see that for the front stitches, the value is 1. For the sleeve stitches, it's 8. And for the back stitches, it's 36 for the 3X size. So if we were to rewrite these instructions for just the 3X size, it would look something like this. So you purl 1 because that's the number for the front stitches. You place a marker, purl 8 because that's the number for sleeves. Place a marker, purl 36 because that's the number for back stitches, and so on. So it's not so hard. Our third example is also from Homebody. So in this, we have a lot of instructions here, but I'm going to focus on this part that says backward loop cast on A stitches. So you'll notice again that A is in bold, so that means we're going to insert a value, right? Again, let's assume we're doing the size 3X. So we'll look on our table and we'll see that A corresponds with the value of 14. So if I'm rewriting these instructions for the size 3X, I would just insert 14 in where that bold A is. I'll also highlight that you see these instructions that are all the numbers and the letters here are in italics. Those are stitch counts. Whenever you see something in italics, Heidi is usually pointing you to some counts for when these instructions are complete. So when you have done all of these instructions, ending with leave the beginning of round marker in place, then you should have 116 for the size 3X. You should have 116 stitches for the front and for the back for a total of 232 stitches. Okay, let's go to our final example. This is from Fine Sand, and this one's a little bit more complicated. So we see again, next row, right side, knit E, and that's in bold. Move F stitches onto waste yarn, cast on H stitches, etc. Okay, so we'll notice that at the end of that line of instructions, she gives you another extra pointer that says refer to the table below for E, F, G, and H stitches. So this is our table that's below. Well, for this example, let's assume we're doing the size extra large, and then we can just simply do what we've been doing, look up the value for E, F, G, and H, just for that one size. So then again, if I were to rewrite the instructions for the size XL, you would knit 63 because that's the value for E, move 71 stitches. Those are the sleeve stitches, or excuse me, that's the value for F. So you'd move 71 stitches onto waste yarn, cast on 6 stitches because that's the value for H, and so on. So that seems to make sense. And then you'll notice she says after that instruction up here, the resulting stitches for each front section and the back section are here below. So these counts are given here. They're in italics, so they indicate, you can look there for the total stitch count. So for the front stitches, you'll have 69, and for the back stitches, you'll have, that's front stitches for each front, the left front and the right front. And then for the back stitches, you'll have 134 when you're complete. So I hope that helps. I really like the way Heidi writes these patterns. I find that I can really focus in on the numbers for my size without having to pick and choose and find the right numbers from amongst a sea of other different sizes. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a happy knitting.